Hi guys, welcome again to this course. Welcome in person. I am Annie Jollymore, your instructor. In this first video, I'm going to talk just a little bit about what the sociological perspective means and how it's different from some of the usual ways that we are accustomed to thinking about things. These comments relate very closely to what you read from C. Wright Mills about the sociological imagination. There are many goals that I have for you in this class, including learning to think more critically, beginning to question the things you have believed for a long time without questioning, and coming to see the interconnectedness of the world. One of the ways that we'll accomplish some of these things is by learning to see the social rather than just the individual. We live in a society in which common sense is often confined to the realm of the individual. Another way of saying this is that we tend to explain many things in reference to individual level factors in decision making. This is part of what I would call a psychological mindset, one that refers to the individual and what goes on inside the individual in order to explain and understand behavior and society. Although I consider psychology to be opposite of sociology in many ways, I'm not opposite in terms of how it approaches explanations of human behavior. I'm not against psychology, but as a sociologist, I see these individual level factors to be highly shaped by social forces. You read about the concept of social facts in your textbook. This is a concept that was coined by Emile Durkheim. When Durkheim discusses social facts, he's referring to the idea that society is more than the sum of its parts. Society is more than just a collection of individuals living together. Society exerts a power over those individuals that is greater and different from the power that any one of those individuals has. And that power cannot be understood or explained by reference to what's inside people. Durkheim sees much in society, including beliefs, practices, values, and all kinds of aspects of social organization, as existing outside of individuals and acting upon them to constrain and shape their behavior. From this perspective, referring to individuals to explain individual action is, in some sense, circular thinking. So, in this class, we will be practicing seeing social forces. Forces that are not easily visible, that we tend to internalize without consciousness through socialization, and that manifest only in individuals. When you find yourself explaining the world through reference to individual choices, try to ask yourself what set of social conditions creates the context in which these choices are possible, in which these choices are thinkable and comprehensible. This is the kind of thinking Mills is referring to when he discusses the sociological imagination. The ability to see past what is in our immediate consciousness and in our immediate environment, to appreciate the social conditions that provide the setting for all of our individual reflections, failures, and triumphs. You'll notice, if you pay attention and go in with this mindset, that the theoretical perspectives you read about in week 2 are all interested in groups, institutions, and other aspects of society that transcend the individual level. When conflict theorists discuss class conflict, for instance, they're not interested in a fist fight between two people from different social classes. They're referring to conflicts between groups of people that are based on their position in much larger social systems. Systems of class, or race, or gender. Even symbolic interactionists, who are by far the most concerned of all sociologists with individual level interaction, begin their analysis with the assumption that all interaction proceeds on the basis of socially shared meanings and understandings. A handshake between business acquaintances has particular meaning and happens at all, not because of anything specific about those two people shaking hands, but because there is a general, socially shared and understood meaning to grasping another's hand and moving it up and down, including all kinds of unspoken social dynamics within it, such as that are symbolized, such as the strength of a grasp, whether one pulls one closer with their handshake, the length of the grasp, etc., that are only acted on because their meaning is widely shared and understood. Handshakes existed before any of you were born, and people will continue shaking hands very likely for a long time after we all are gone. Over the next few weeks, I'd like to ask you to start listening to people with this in mind. Start paying attention to what people say and how they talk about things, how they explain things. Listen to news reports especially. Listen to television shows, to radio programs. Listen to your family and your friends, even your other teachers. And try to identify the degree to which they refer to individual level factors to explain things. Notice how you try to explain things, even your own life and choices, through reference to psychological and individual level characteristics. And start thinking about what we might point to socially to help us understand some of the same things that you've been describing through individual level references. I'd love to hear back from you guys about what you notice. That's all for today. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.